Yo, what up, all you audacious anime absorbers? I'm Melder, and today we're going to talk about the new potential upcoming banner for Arknights EN, and also the age old question of should I pull or should I save? Now, a lot of us were thinking that the next banner that's going to come to us after Bagpipe was going to be Phantom with Shamare and Cutter, but from this most recent tweet from Arknights EN and an article from Game Press, we can kind of make assumptions that it's not going to be Phantom, but instead it's going to be the Children of Ursus event and the Rosa banner instead. But like always, we're going to talk about each of the upcoming ops in the banner and for the event, going over their talents, skills, and their traits, and then we're going to answer whether or not I think you guys should pull or should you save. Now, the first op we're going to go over today is going to be the 6-star Rosa, and I think Rosa is absolutely badass. She has this massive harpoon cannon, and she's a polar bear. I mean, look how fabulous she is. She's just amazing and badass. She has really great E2 art. Love the color palette involved. Love the art here. This alone makes me want to get her and E2 her as soon as possible. So she has 2 talents as a 6-star. Her archetype is going to be an AoE sniper, and her first talent is for tank shredding. I think this op is just built for tank shredding, and she does a really good job at it. First talent ignores 60% of the target's defense if they are above a certain weight threshold. Now this is at E2, and the second talent that she gets when she becomes E2'd is that she buffs all other Ursus Student Council ops. So all your Ursus ops like Gummy, Zima, Absinthe, who's a new op in this event, as well as Bee Hunter and Estina as well. And I think the buff itself it's pretty minimal, but if you're running like a full faction squad, I think it'd be pretty cool. 10% at max pot is nothing to scoff at really, but the ops that it's affecting, I don't really think benefit super hard from this buff. But I may be wrong. Skill 1 is basically just an attack steroid. You're going to be looking at skill 2 more for the most part because it does the same thing but better at the cost of a much higher SP cost, but the uptime is 60 seconds, so it's double. I think this skill is quite solid. It's skill 1, but it attacks additional target, and it's up for a full minute. And then the skill 3, which I think is very interesting, is that she binds 3 enemies, so she CCs 3 enemies, the enemies who are the heaviest in her range, and she does damage to them per second, which is quite nice. So if you've seen any videos of CN players using her, I mean, you can make use of her in maps like Annihilation 3 and some more difficult CC Abandoned Factory stage that's coming up, not next CC but the one after that. So I think she definitely has some use. I think she's worth building. The issue with her is that her attack range is very strange. It is very unique. As you can see down here on the bottom right, it's just her and then blank space around her, and then that's her attack range at E0. You're going to be looking at E1 or E2 attack range, and it expands even further. I think if you have the eye for placement of this op, she can put in absolute work. I think she's going to be, I think she's quite strong. She's definitely a strong 6-star, and she definitely has her uses. But that strange attack range is definitely something to take note of if you do plan on using her. The next there are 2 5-stars from this event. The first one is the banner op Leonhardt, and I think he's actually a solid operator. He's an AoE caster, and I think he has a lot of self synergy, which is very nice to see. So he does some AoE splash damage on his attack range, or on his attacks, and his talent is that for every enemy in his attack range, he gets a percentage attack buff. This stacks up to 5 times for E1, and at E2 max pot, it's 6 times, so 24% total if he has maximum stacks. Since he's AoE, he's going to be want to be hitting a lot of different enemies at once, so I think this works well for him. Skill 1 is just an attack steroid, and then skill 2 is an ability that can charge. Has 2 charges and 3 charges at Mastery 1, which is not too bad of an investment. And he basically smacks his spear down with an increased attack range, doing a huge amount of burst damage, 200% magic damage, and also putting a minus 12% magic resist debuff on them for 6 seconds. So if you have multiple charges of this, first one's going to hit for 200%, then the subsequent 2 are going to hit for even more because of that magic resist debuff. So I think this op has a good amount of self-synergy. If you pair him with SP batteries, he's going to be spamming the crap out of his skill 2 and really hitting hard. I think this op, although he is competing with some of the best operators in the game, like Afiala, I think he is definitely underrated. I think he's quite solid. He's definitely seems fun to use, and his art is quite solid. I have Keobe and Afiala, so I probably won't build him if I do get him, but I think he's pretty cool, and here's his E2 art. He also actually just got a skin, and it is featuring these 2 little furry friends that he has. It is pretty crazy that he already has a skin, even though he just came out, basically. But that's what Yostar's decided to do. Regardless of that, I think this operator is quite solid, especially for a archetype that isn't the strongest, and also because he is competing against some really strong operators as well. I think he's pretty good. The next operator is the free operator they get with the Children of Ursus event, and her name is Absinthe. She is a single target caster who's 5 stars, and she essentially targets low health enemies. Her talent allows her to get a buff when she attacks an enemy who is below 40% HP. At E2 max pot, this goes up to 30%. So 30% increased damage to enemies with less than 40% HP, which is pretty solid. Both of her skills, I think, they have their ups and downs, I'd say. I don't think either one is strictly better than the other, but I think they both will have their uses. The first one has an infinite duration, but it is a 78 SP cost ability, so she's definitely a slower start, but I think the ability is pretty good. Attack up by 60%, and she is basically finishing off the lowest percentage HP enemies. I think this could be pretty good in some situations, but single target caster, that role is pretty stacked, honestly. So her competition definitely outshines her. Her skill 2 at rank 7 does 4 consecutive hits on one target, doing 75% each, and it's 90% at mastery 3. But the caveat to that is that she only attacks enemies that are less than 50% HP, which you could definitely run some issues with target priority on that one. But the uptime's 30 seconds. I think it's the duration's 30 seconds. The uptime is pretty good considering, even though it is at 54 SP cost. So she's okay for a free unit, but there are definitely better options for you guys out there. And now the 4-star we're going to talk about is Podenko, and goddamn, this character is absolutely adorable. Like, she's one of the cutest characters in the game. Don't at me on that one, but she is a supporter unit who also buffs supporter units with her talent with a small amount of attack percentage. And her skills, skill 1 is she becomes a healer, and skill 2 is she drops a AoE bomb at a certain area, and it does 60% magic burn every second, so that's 5 seconds of 60% magic burn. I think this operator is actually pretty good. She's really cute. But yeah, she is a 4-star, so she's gonna be pretty cheap to build. I think she is pretty good, but you know, there are definitely, she's not at like the level of other like really top tier 4-star units like Myrtle and Quora, and I don't even think she's quite Utage levels, to be honest. But yeah, overall I think she's pretty good. So that's it for all of the upcoming potential operators for the Children of Ursus event and the Rosa banner. And now it's time to talk about whether or not you should pull, and some of the upcoming banners that are competing with this one for your Arundum, for your money, for your resources, all that stuff. Now, with this banner coming out before Phantom and being on a completely different track from CN, this could mean anything for W and Weedy. And I know most of you guys out there are thinking about how does this affect W and Weedy banner, how does this affect that event. I'm thinking, and I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking, that this event is going to come out at the year anniversary to match CN. So we're going to get W and Weedy for the year anniversary, and the rest of it is going to be filler up until then. So things like Asbestos, Sukinogi, Phantom banner, Chapter 7, CC Pyrite, and Ursus, Children of Ursus event. I think those are all, and maybe even Caesuran too, honestly. But I think all those banners and events are going to fill the space between now and the year anniversary, where I think W and Weedy are going to come out. Well, for those of you saving for W and Weedy, this is definitely a bit of a relief. I'm sure you guys get several more months to prepare for the absolute salt fest that is going to ensue when W is released to the public on EN. I personally am not gunning for W too much, really. I mostly care about Weedy, so I'm going to pull on the Rosa banner as much as I can, because I really want her. She's so sick. So, you know, obviously, like I say every single time, you pull for your waifu. If W's your waifu, honestly, if W's your waifu, just save. Don't pull on anything else. Literally just save for her. I want you to have like over 300 pulls for her, okay? Because she's gonna be pretty spooky. But yeah, if you guys don't really care for W that much, yeah, you could definitely pull guaranteed. I think every operator on the Rosa banner is pretty solid, especially Leonhardt and Rosa herself. Are they absolutely must need operators? Definitely not. I don't think there's really any operator in the game that's like that. But, you know, if you want to get that guaranteed 5-star, I think if you get a Leonhardt or something like that, you know, you'll be feeling good about it overall. Now, the other options are, you know, the most obvious one being Phantom with Shamare and Cutter. Basically, you're comparing, do I care? If you don't care about Weedy or W that much, you're comparing, do I like Phantom more, or do I like Rosa more? Now, which one you like better, obviously, you should pull for them and just skip the rest, because these banners and these events are coming at us so fast, because we might be trying to match the speed and catch up to CN. So there's not really many breaks to save your resources. So overall, guys, hopefully that answered any questions you had, or you know, I helped influence your decision on what to do, what your plans are. I definitely love talking about Arknights, and I want to keep making videos like this. Hopefully, once again, hopefully this helped you guys. If it did, please leave a like or comment or anything like that. I would appreciate all of it. Hope you all have a great week, and peace out.